I am pleased to bring in Paulina Luna right here to Newsline. I know you have a big news conference at 1 o'clock, so great to have you before that. What will you be announcing on this legislation? We know it's been a topic for a long time, and you are trying to get it resolved once and for all.
Most certainly, when I first got into office, I obviously knew about the preconceived notion about corruption in Washington, D.C., but then you see there's a lot of good watchdog pages that are covering insider trading here among members. But when you see people getting, 600% returns on their stock, or they're making big purchases prior to legislation being announced that's affecting the national markets, it's completely wrong. Most Americans would go to jail for it, yet it's completely legal here inside Congress. And so at 1 o'clock, we will be announcing some bipartisan legislation. There's a handful of Democrats, handful of Republicans that are willing to sponsor this. I can tell you that the President of the United States has been very vocal about banning insider trading in Congress. And in fact, our own U.S. Treasury Secretary has also. And so it's time that Congress acts. But I am prepared to bring a discharge petition. As you know, I'm no stranger to doing things outside of the box. And here in Washington, D.C., they like to just tell you to vote for your party and don't vote against a rule. But I'm prepared to use everything in my legislative toolkits to ensure that this is done. Over 87% of Americans support this. It doesn't matter your party affiliation. And so I frankly think that if we really want to best represent our constituency, we have to make sure that we're not putting our own financial interests ahead of that of the American people. And so that's exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing.
All right, we'll see if it goes to discharge or if you get the votes. Yes, we know you are not shrinking violet there in what you did for new moms who wanted to be with their babies. You won that fight, too, on the record. I just want to ask you about Jeffrey Epstein files. I know you met with some of the survivors earlier today, but you made a really important post about following the money, Congresswoman Luna. This is part of the subpoenas, House Oversight, Chairman Comer. You say he's sending a SARS request to U.S. Treasury. What do we need to know, and who do you think should be questioned on all of this?
Well, look, for starters, this information would not be out there publicly if there was not full cooperation from the White House and the Department of Justice. And so to be clear, the Treasury will be delivering on those SARS reports. But what we were told directly by victims is that the Deutsche Bank actually has all the money trails leading to shell corporations. As you know, Congress is no stranger to investigating that. We did it with the Hunter Biden Ponzi scheme that he was laundering money through. But look, at the end of the day, ultimately, these victims deserve justice. And so with what you saw with the massive release of files, the White House has complied with the request from Congress to deliver on that. So it was posted publicly for the American people. I do think also, too, a quick update that the Oversight Committee is going to be ensuring that those are done in PDF format to make it easier for people to go through. But there's a lot of information that I haven't seen before in those files. And frankly, we were actually told by the victims that they do not want their information to be out there publicly. So there will continue to be redactions in order to protect those people. But look, no one is saying that they don't want justice. In fact, Chairman Comer has gone basically above and beyond what everyone could have anticipated in just a document release. And I do also believe that there will be criminal investigations, being that we do know for sure names. We were told names of people specifically that were involved. We were also told names of we were also told that these individuals' attorneys were in contact with the victim attorneys. And in addition to that, what we're also seeing is that, you're seeing some of the most rich and powerful essentially not being held accountable for what was done. And so I think the victims are simply asking for that justice to be served. That's exactly what we're doing.
Stay tuned is the message we're getting. Thank you so much. It's great to have you ahead of your 1 p.m. news conference banning stock trades for members of Congress and their significant others. Congresswoman Paulina Luna of Florida, thank you so much. We hope to see you back here soon.
Thank you.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.